If you've been inspired by the recent wave of viral yo-yo content, you're probably thinking, what yo-yos do these guys use? How much does the yo-yo really matter? And which one should I buy if I want to get into the whole yo-yo thing? So today I'm going to contrast an $18 plastic entry-level yo-yo with a $110 fully competitive competition yo-yo. Basically tell you what you guys should be looking for, what's the difference, and what you should know. But before I explain the difference, I have to tell you what these things are designed for. Yo-yoing technology really revolves around yo-yo competitions. It's generally accepted that yo-yoing freestyles are the pinnacle of yo-yoing ability. Therefore, yo-yo competitions are the ultimate display of what a yo-yo can generally do. Yo-yo competitions are essentially a mix of yo-yoing ability and, well, performance. On the yo-yo ability side, you want a yo-yo that's relatively easy to catch, has a really long spin time, and isn't easily swayed when the yo-yo is placed under extreme stress. Essentially want a yo-yo that doesn't slow down too much and can complete a variety of tricks. But how is that achieved with today's current yo-yo technology? Well, that brings me back to the two yo-yos. Let's consider easy to catch. When determining whether a yo-yo is easy to catch generally depends on its shape. Now within this, players have different preferences. I like angular yo-yos, some people like rounded yo-yos. But regardless of all of that, the one thing we can all agree on is you want something catchable. Let's take a look at the $18 yo-yo. The catchable area within this shape is from here to here, which is admirable. Compare that to the outlier, which is from there to there. The outlier is twice as catchable as the ascent. So regardless of yo-yo skill, if you're trying to catch this thing, or you're trying to catch this thing, this one's gonna be easier to catch. That's not to say catching the ascent is impossible, but it does require slightly more concentration, and therefore a more expensive yo-yo might give you a bit of an edge. Now those of you that like to question me are probably like, okay, cool Brandon, wide yo-yos are better. Why doesn't everyone just make wide yo-yos? If you try to make the design wider, there is more likelihood of the yo-yo vibing. Narrow yo-yos are easier to make, therefore they're more likely to be smooth. Wider yo-yos, there's more chance that it could be vibey. And when a yo-yo is vibey, you generally can't sell it and you have to stay up late at night half swapping yo-yos so you don't get flamed on the yo-yo BST. It's quite the nightmare. Now, the main thing that affects spin time is generally the bearing that's inside here. So as you can see, the Ascent does come with a concave bearing, which is a very similar bearing that comes with the Outlier too. This is standard issue now. Concave bearings are good, but some yo-yos don't have it, and that can really reduce the yo-yo spin time. Alright, let's go with stress. What makes one yo-yo more capable and resilient towards really stressful combos than, say, another yo-yo? What is the golden factor that allows some yo-yos to withstand a beating and others less so? This is achieved by what is referred to as weight distribution. Getting this right is basically 80% of the yo-yo designer's job. When determining how good a yo-yo is for competition, one of the key factors you have to look at is what is referred to as rim weight. You see, the rim weight is really important. It determines A, how long the yo-yo can spin, B, how heavy the yo-yo feels, and C, how resistant the yo-yo is to tricks that really put the yo-yo under some significant amount of stress and friction. See, the key with rim weight is to get as much rim weight as possible, but not have weight in other weird areas. I think of it like, imagine you're a fighter. Like, you don't want no weight at all. You definitely want some sort of weight, but you want that weight inside your muscles, inside your arms, inside your chest, in all of these strategic areas so that when you attack something, it's very, very powerful. You don't want to have all of this weight and a bunch of fat so you look pudgy and slow, and therefore your absolute weight goes up. So the mark of a competitive yo-yo is a lot of rim weight, but low absolute weight. Let's come back to the $18 yo-yo. Yes, there is a lot of plastic on this yo-yo's rim, which makes sure that yes, it's got an adequate amount of rim weight for it to play nicely. Now, not gonna lie, this yo-yo is pretty solid in terms of its weight distribution, but because it's plastic, it also has a ton of weight everywhere else. It's got a lot of center weight. Now, don't get me wrong, that weight needs to be there, otherwise the yo-yo wouldn't be heavy enough to spin on the end of the string. But if it had a more extreme weight distribution, it would spin for longer and be more stable. Contrast that to this bad boy. Alright, this thing has a massive stainless steel ring on the edge of the yo-yo. Now, stainless steel is denser than aluminium, therefore there has to be less of it to produce more weight. Contrastingly, the body of this thing is made out of a lightweight aluminium, meaning that this thing is light where it needs to be and very, very heavy, meaning there is not a single gram of wasted weight on this yo-yo. Now, it should be noted that the whole bimetal weight thing, it's better, but it comes at a cost. This can be produced super cheaply, whereas this has to be assembled, tuned. This thing is kind of expensive. Now, just so I'm complete in my explaining of all of this, there is a middle ground. You can essentially make a yo-yo fully out of aluminium, and that way you just add an extra bit of weight there, and you can get it pretty close to what a bimetal version would play like, but I would still say that this slightly edges out in terms of like spin time and stability than something like this, just because of the dense aluminium rims. It's a more extreme design. Okay, now if I end this video with anything, if you have a yo-yo like this, meaning a butterfly looking yo-yo with a large concave bearing, like all of this is kind of trivial. Like let's say I had to choose between A, B, and C. These would probably make about 10, maybe 20% of the difference as to whether I win the contest or not. Put it another way, let's say I was in a competition with yo-yo players that were not as good as me, and all I had was an Ascent. I could probably out-edge them if I just practiced more and paid attention to my tricks. So when you guys hear yo-yoers say, the yo-yo doesn't matter, this is what they mean. If you have something like this, the absolute bare minimum, with today's current technology, you can pretty much do whatever yo-yo trick you see if you practice enough. Here's where I disagree. We're comparing one of these crappy ass things, like a $2 yo-yo, to something like this. This, it doesn't matter how good you are. World champion could use this, I would use this, he would have no chance. This is just a limitation in technology. It has no bearing, this thing's nearly impossible to catch, and it basically sucks. This would probably be the bare minimum for getting into the yo-yo world. There you have it. That's the difference between an $18 plastic yo-yo and a $110 competition yo-yo, just in case you guys are curious. That's it from me. I'll see you guys next time.